Hello again. If I didn't know any better, I might suppose that our Prime Minister had some kind of grudge against old age pensioners. True, many of them vote Conservative, and I suppose they were also partly responsible for leaving the European Union as well. But even so, Keir Starmer does seem to feel that old folk are at the root of most of what is wrong with the country today. It will be recalled that the economy was saved only in the nick of time from crashing in flames by the Chancellor's adroit handling of the winter fuel payment crisis. As if that's not enough, it now appears that we are causing the NHS to be on the point of collapsing as well. Honestly, what will we get up to next time? In a speech today, Starmer said that the NHS is at a fork in the road and we have a choice about how it should meet these rising demands. Raise taxes on working people to meet the ever higher costs of ageing population, or reform to secure its future. You see, it will be our fault if taxes go up, and it is by implication us who have brought the NHS to this fork in the road because of the demands of the ageing population, the ever higher costs associated with them. I remarked the other day that talking of working people has become a habit of Starmer's since he became Prime Minister. Before the general election, he was forever going on about the sorry plight of the old folk and worrying about them being cold or hungry. But now they're nothing but a nuisance, a terrible burden being borne by those poor working people. Idle old devils. Of course, we do not want to be the cause of either crashing the economy or making people pay more taxes. So I suppose we'll just have to keep quiet and go along with what our leader says. It looks to me as though Starmer has found a folk devil. Somebody who can be blamed for anything at all which goes wrong. National Health Service on the blink? It's those old folk again. Economy about to crash? That'll be the old folk. Taxes needed to be raised for working people? More mischief caused by those terrible old folk. Starmer is also lining us up as the cause of higher immigration, of course. The phrase ageing population, which he used in that speech, is often used to explain why so many immigrants are needed in this country. They'll have to work in care homes to look after those old folk. All regimes like to have somebody who can be blamed whenever anything goes wrong. In Nazi Germany, it was the Jews. In Stalin's Russia, it was the kulaks, the wealthy peasants. And in Starmer's Britain, it's the old folk. Expect to hear a lot more mention of the ageing population in coming months, especially as we approach the budget announcement in October. By the by, I removed a video which I posted here yesterday about the fact that it was the Second World War which allowed such awful places as Auschwitz, Sobibor and Treblinka to be established. The reason I took it off is that many of the comments seemed to assume that I was denying that the Holocaust had taken place, and the level of ignorance displayed on the subject was staggering. I was, of course, merely pointing out that such things as the wholesale deaths of the reconcentrados in the camps in Cuba and the Philippines at the turn of the 19th century, the deaths in the British concentration camps during the Boer War a few years later, and even places like the Andersonville camp during the American Civil War, were all as much a consequence of there being wartime endeavours as they were any planned large numbers of deaths. I intend to write a longer and more detailed piece about this on my Substack account and then post a link to it here. You see, then too, had I left it up, there is always the chance that some fool might have been able to persuade YouTube that I was a Holocaust denier, which might have had annoying consequences. I must apologise for taking this action, but it seemed to me prudent.